get often, but Bubba actually laid up off the tee, laid his second shot up, played a nice third shot with a wedge, and makes birdie the old-fashioned way. And back at 7, Phil's already tapped in for his birdie. This is a par putt now for Woods.
When I watch Tiger now, I try to look at the width of his stride when he walks. If he's taking short, choppy steps, he's stiff. That looks like a pretty normal gait to me. But his back gets tight. He starts taking short steps.
This is a par attempt at 18 for Corey Connors, who's working on a 7-under round, but it slips to 6 under for the day with that bogey at the last. But he had it going out in 30, had hopes of staying in the chase for a while, but runs out of gas a little bit late. But a good week for Corey.
Yeah, that's a strong final round.
Yes, on a much more difficult course today.
Yep, no doubt. And he got a little sniff of, the idea that he might be able to get in contention up there with those guys.
All right, back over at 14 in that final group. Bones?
Middle of the fairway, but 191. Justin Thomas hit his tee shot 40 yards longer, so Rahm's probably going to feel the need to go after the flag here, thinking that JT will do just that.
Well, there's 2 ways you can go with this one. There's a big sweeping mound almost that comes off this right-hand side of the green, or you can go straight at it.
Boy, this might land right near that mound you're talking about and rock it to the left a little bit, Zing.
Yeah, a little deeper, Bones, but that's a nice place to putt from. That's a hard second shot from down there with a 6-iron.
Oh, things changed on that leaderboard. Just a couple of holes ago, Rahm had the lead at 23 under, back-to-back bogeys, and now Cantlay's got it by himself. This is Griffin in trouble at 14.
Yeah, initially I was going to go full Rosberg here and say he doesn't have anything, but because he's playing from the hard pan here, he can hit a sweeping hook from 186, and if he can keep it from getting tangled up in the right rough, he could possibly run it on the right side of the green if he does something amazing.
These are really fun shots for these tour players. I don't know if he has enough club. Looks like he's got a lofted club, Bones, just going to pitch it out.
Oh, and it nicked the tree, rough.
That's a mistake.
That stings on a Sunday.
Yeah, that stings. It became apparent he was just trying to chip that thing out. Instead of hit that tree shot that Bones was describing, and couldn't even get it back on the fairway. That's going to be a really tough third.
Okay, so Thomas looking things over with Jimmy Johnson.
And Paul, to me, when these guys get out here late on Sundays, they're looking for a spark when they don't have a lot of momentum. And I think that this tee shot, Justin takes out driver. He brings the right fairway bunker into play, but pulls it off brilliantly. He's just got 152 left, and I got to think he's going right after this flag here and looking to make a bit of a statement.
Yeah, good point, Bones. And that par on the last hole had to give him a nice infusion of confidence as well. But he is one behind Patrick Cantlay, who's hit a wonderful shot at 15.
A little hurt. Just playing the number 50 shot.
And of course, without the spectators out here, they're not hearing the roars, so they're less likely to know about the kind of move Cantlay's making.
Well, he hits most of his shots pin high. This guy does, unless he wants to leave it below the hole. And pressure's amped up now. The intensity is heightened, and let's see if he can hit another one hole high.
Right of it, looking for a kick off the slope.
It'll bounce that way. That's a fine shot. He's going to have some break in that putt, Bones, but he hit a beauty.
He's made 7 pars in a row since his last birdie at the 6th. Maybe that's about to end.
And over here at 15, Ryan Palmer with a chance for a 2.
A real nice look here, too, Gary. Straight up into the hill. It's going to work a little left to right, so just got to give it a little bit of pace.
Only 4 birdies made here all day.
A little shot from up there, Gary.
I'm sure it's been played.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. All right, so Cantlay's putt now, and Noda, he had the advantage of watching Sebastian Munoz putt, correct?
Yes, he actually had to move his coin because Munoz was going to come basically right over where his coin was sitting. So he moved it, replaced it now, and knows exactly what this putt's going to do. Gary, interesting thing here is I'm certain Patrick doesn't know he's in the lead because he has not seen a scoreboard. There's none here at 15, and will not see another one until after he walks off 16 green. So a lot could happen in this next 20 minutes or so.
It's a putt that has to be struck firmly or it will dart to the right at the hole. Nice. What a two.
So pure, Gary. And you know, it goes back to Cantlay discovering that he was bringing the putter back inside. There's no way you can make left to right putts if you do that. That was a beautiful path. What a birdie.
And you see there 9 birdies in his round, ties his career most in a round on the PGA Tour. Absolutely perfect. Had a chance to talk to his instructor, Jamie Mulligan, this morning on the range. He said Patrick is glad to be back here in California. Dan, you mentioned, grew up in Long Beach, loves playing under these conditions, and boy, is it showing.
Man, Mulligan has been going back and forth from his member guest, which ended yesterday.
He said, fortunately, yeah.
He's been logging more miles than anybody here in Southern California. Okay, over at 14, Griffin.
Yeah, got to take his time. Obviously, a lot on the line here for Lanto still. A lot of FedEx points these guys are playing for.
Yeah, Lanto currently in a tie for 4th at 19 under. Big day for him. Playing with number 2 and number 3 in the world. He's let it get away from him, but still trying to finish strong down the stretch. As we go to 17, and Bubba Watson, who's a part of that 4-way tie for 4th at the moment.
55. You okay with this? Yeah, good one. It's like you've been doing. Perfect. It's great right now. A little bit of help.
It's a nice team, Bubba Watson and Teddy Scott. Bubba likes to swing these sweeping draws into these holes tucked up right. It's definitely sweeping, but is it enough? Not quite. All high, though.
Yeah, just left it out.
Back at 14 for Rahm for birdie.
Big mountain to his right could force his putt to break a little bit more to the left than he might think. And Justin Thomas is a very interested spectator to see what this ball does in the last 10 feet or so.
Rahm will be shocked to know that he's 3 shots off the pace.
He's got to be careful here. He can run a little bit hot at times, but obviously there's a lot of golf still to be played, and he's as dynamic a guy in terms of making birdies and eagles as anybody.
Yeah, you got some huge potential swing holes coming up, Bones. You got 15 where we've documented anything can happen. You got another par 5 at 16 where you can make eagle, and you can make a big one there in a heartbeat. So keep it together, right? Stay in the moment. Justin Thomas, an excellent birdie opportunity here for him.
Boy, you said it, Dan. This is very, very makeable. Certainly, he might be influenced by how much Rahm's ball fell off the table there at the end. But these are the moments that JT absolutely relishes.
Talked about how he's been working with his new putting instructor, John Graham, since the U.S. Open after he worked with Matt Killen exclusively since his days in Alabama. Just visualize has been the key. That was outside all the way.
Unbelievable that didn't break, really. I wasn't sure it was high enough when it left, and I'm sure he is shocked by that.
All right, here's this intriguing par 5, 16th,
It is big dog leg to the right, penalty area down the right, 2 deep fairway bunkers down the left, very narrow driving area. If you try to get down there to where you can reach the green in 2, just 12 yards between the oak trees on the right and left. Cantlay has yet to birdie the 16th so far this week. Going with less than driver.
Yes, such a methodical player and trying to hit just a low cut. Safety first here.
Oh, it's going to get to that fairway bunker, so that is going to force a layup.
No, and that brings the penalty areas into play as well. He's got to carry one of them if he
stays short of the other.
That's right.
The creek that runs down the right winds its way down the hole. We go back to 14.
Well, what was happening? It's Griffin for bogey. Nice putt there, but he loses more ground. Back to 18 under, and now live for the little tap in for par for Rahm. And after those 2 bogeys in a row, gets the par, remains at 21 under.
Well, these two need to get past this next hole, this 15th hole, and then see what Patrick Cantlay's doing when they spot the board for the first time.
And they've got a tricky finishing hole at 18 up ahead. Here's Cameron Champ coming home at 18 under.
Yeah, well done, Cam. Beautiful shot, bud.
Yep, that is a nice shot.
Well done. Just like you.
Narrow driving hole at 18. And now Tiger Woods over at the 8th. Couple holes left for him, finishing up on the front side.
Good looking swing.
This
out
is
of
a
Tiger.
239-yard par 3.
Not enough.
Well, it has not been Woods and Mickelson's day, but Adam Long is teaching him a little lesson here on this Sunday. 4 under for the one-time PGA Tour winner, and a big moment for him.
What a treat to get to play with those two guys.
So Jimmy Johnson and Justin Thomas trying to figure out what club to play here at the always dangerous 15th.
I tell you what, Gary, to walk out here and again see how visually intimidating this tee shot is, and the flag's tucked right up against the front of the green over the penalty area. My hat's off to Patrick Cantlay for making it 2. Holy Toledo. That is some playing, and it's got to be unnerving for these guys because you play the 14th in very little wind because you're protected by some hills, but you step out here and you can feel it coming at you. You hit anything inside 20 feet here, you've done a heck of a job.
He has managed to par the 15th each of the 3 rounds he's played previously.
And Bones, I'm curious, is there enough of a leaderboard out there that he knows that he's 2 shots back?
I was asked on the last green by Jimmy Johnson if Cantlay had beaten birdie here on 15, and of course I told him he had, so they're certainly very curious what's going on, but I haven't seen a leaderboard in quite some time.
JT wisely taking his time. He and Jimmy Johnson know the value here, don't they, Gary?
Well, yes. And as Bones said, I mean, anything 20 feet from the hole is a good shot, and you hope it's 20 feet past the hole. He's uncertain here.
Well, the wind's coming up, Gary, and it's the last tee shot these guys have out here, or any shot out here. They want the wind to start flipping around on them.
If it wasn't this cold, I'd be fine with it, but...
In this situation, you want to be able to swing
68
hard.
cold, right?
You don't want to have to fit something in there.
I think I might just hit a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, even with this right here.
Big moment, big decision.
Yeah, it seems like Jimmy Johnson is more confident than Justin.
I know, it won't stop blowing.
Well, he can, pull another club and hit a little cut.
A little harder every time. I know.
He's got the flagstick on his mind, I think, here, Gary.
I think certainly these guys are also having to adjust for the fact that they're playing today in quite a different temperature than they did the first 3 days. So certainly because their irons aren't going quite as far.
He's going to go with the crush 8.
He's talking to it. It's left of the flag.
He's yelling for it to go. Nope. I tell you what, Paul, that was unbelievable why you don't take more club.
57.
You could just sense it. He was not comfortable. Yep. It could have been,
by much.
and it may have embedded in there. I don't know. Never saw it bounce back.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gary. I was following that one in the air and did not see it bounce back out of that slope that it landed in.
And you got to wonder if he just handed it to Cantlay. There's some golf to be played, but that was a critical mistake.
We're bragging on JT's ability to swing with a variety of speeds, and he wanted to go with the hard 8. Now Rahm looks like one less, maybe.
No, he's going one more, Paul. He's got 7.
Well, that's what I meant.
Just a 3/4 swing. He knows it's plenty of club, especially when you pull, which is what this is.
Number 2 and 3 in the world just flummoxed by this little par 3.
Over at 17.
Bubba Watson, birdie putt. Had it. So Watson is going to remain at 19 under with the 18th left.
And that's just right of center anyway.
All right, Cantlay ready to play his second here at the 16th, and as we expected, Noda going to force to lay up from this fairway bunker.
And a nice clean lie here, Gary, so really no excuses to not be able to get enough good contact on it to carry the ravine and hit his number.
Try to keep your feet as quiet as possible. It's more of an upper body effort. See his feet slip. No, beautiful.
That should be just fine.
Okay, it's all good.
Even better that it got it over on the right side of the fairway. Going to have a great angle to the left hole location. So well played shot there by Cantlay. And as we mentioned, 9 birdies in his round today, the most he's ever made in his career on the PGA Tour in a single round. Well, an incredible break for Justin Thomas. It appears as though the ball could be playable. Bones, you've had a chance to take a look.
I certainly did, Gary. You know, it's on a slope where he can certainly put his right foot within the boundary of the penalty area and play a shutout here. Now, of course, there's a lot of guesswork as to how this ball is going to come out of there. It could shoot backwards and go in the water. It could go on the green 8 or 10 feet from the hole, but he's incredibly lucky to at least have the opportunity.
And at this stage of the game, he has to take that chance, doesn't he?
Sounds like what he's really interested in doing here is taking out his wedge, taking a practice swing and seeing what kind of resistance he meets in terms of the grass he's ultimately going to tangle with.
And it looks like Jon Rahm is going to go ahead and play.
Back of the green, plenty of putting surface to work with here. All about the contact, but very doable in terms of getting up and down. Jon knows again that he can make a lot of noise here in these last 3.5 holes.
And it starts here. Has to get this ball up and down. And he will.
Oh my God.
Bones, I'm glad you mentioned the possibility that this ball could go backwards, because it's happened to all of us when you get on that severe a slope. So he's going to have to figure it out. This is all feel.
And obviously a tremendous amount of trust between he and his caddy, Jimmy. He wants very much to know what Jimmy thinks in terms of what he should do.
Under the new rules, he is allowed to make these practice swings in the penalty area. So that's a huge advantage, Bones, to be able to kind of get a sense of the resistance that grass is going to offer.
Absolutely, and he wants a better visual, I think, on the ball. So he's leaving nothing a chance here. Hopefully he changes spikes on Tuesday.
Rahm did tap in for his par.
Had to create the human chain for him to even take a look at the lie. So I don't even know how he's going to hit it. He can't really see it that well, can he, Bones?
He really can't, and you can just tell by the look on Jimmy Johnson's face here as he walks away. I mean, there's just a lot of risk here.
Oh.
But he's very lucky to be there in 2.
Yeah, jammed his wrist. See him shaking his right hand, and watch how the resistance that this grass offers. Oh, man. Ball came out even better than I think he anticipated, but as Bone said, at least he has a chance to make a par. All right, up at 16, big wedge shot here for Patrick Cantlay. 115 yards, very accessible hole location. In a little bowl, middle left portion of the green. Oh, no. What a mistake.
Wow, Gary, with just a wedge. It's only 12 feet wide, but it's just a wedge.
Yeah, but anything just right of the hole, you can utilize the slope to get the ball close.
And a good break that it went out to the right, at
absolutely.
least.
I mean, he should have a chance to save par, but wow.
Well, I was just about to say he's in total control of this event at this point, and he just handed control back over to well, the gods, really.
This is Cameron Smith for par at 18. He caps off a fine week. Final round 67 for Cam. Look at his scores for the week here at Sherwood. And he is currently in a tie for 4th. And Cameron Champ, this for par as well. And Champ gets in at 18 under, 67 for him. Tony Finau was in that group, shot 69. With a birdie at this last hole. In fact, Tony had 2 birdies in the last 3 holes to finish at 17 under as we go back to 15.
And the lengthy par putt for Justin Thomas. We saw him make a great par save at the 12th, another one at the 13th. Bones, does he have 3 of them in him?
My goodness, I can't imagine what kind of reaction we would see out of him should this one go.
So the longest putt that he's made this week was 27 feet 9 inches. That was on the 17th hole, round 3. And as you see, this one just over 32 feet. Needs to stretch. So it's going to be a drop shot.
Boy, Cantlay 3 shots clear and just missed the green with a wedge, Gary.
That is Justin Thomas's first bogey in his last 24 holes. All right, over at 16. Well, how about the lie here, Noda, for Cantlay?
It's not great. His biggest concern, he's got to come up and over a little ridge about 2/3 of the way to the hole that's angled away from him. So if it goes a little right, it's going to work away from the hole. And if he carries it too far, it's going to race past.
And we've got a good view here. You can see that little slope that comes into the green. Have to be very precise here.
It's like he's going to try and elevate this one here, Zing.
Yeah, he's 16 for 17 getting it up and in. That's why he's only made 1 bogey.
Yeah, well.
That's really unbelievable that he is in this situation, Gary. It's like Rahm on 13. How is bogey in play here for
Martin? Just fall off to the right. This putt is coming from a little left to right.
Well, Paul, here's another test for that stroke. He's been great on the left to righter so far.
Well, you pointed out earlier he'd been taking the putter on the inside, Gary, but when he got it going straight or back, he's been able to hold more of these left to right putts. He's really could, this is just a big putt. You don't want to make a 6 here.
Got to stay up. He will now have played this 16th hole in +1 for the week. Back to 23 under. The lead, just 2. And off the tee, I'm surprised at this club selection. This was just earlier, Paul. Jon Rahm with an iron. I know it's this driving iron, but I'm not sure he can reach in 2 hitting this off the tee.
Well, if he can't reach in 2, I'm going to say it's the wrong club, Gary, at this point.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he's hit it well, and it's down the center of the fairway, but it is way back.
Yeah, he's going to have to bomb one to get there.
Well, Justin Thomas has the driver, and Bones, he tried this yesterday, trying to hit that low peeler.
Yes, he did. But went right to it again today. He's got to like the way this feels. This is cutting. This looks really good for my angle.
Oh, and it is. And it is down there a mile, and Justin Thomas has already made an eagle and 2 birdies here at 16 earlier this week. And he is going to be able to reach the green with not much more than a middle iron as we go to 18.
And Bubba Watson for a finishing birdie here to get it to 20 under. Good try for Bubba. Good week for him. He's had a lot of success on the PGA Tour in California, and add this one to the list. Mickelson finishing up over on the 9th.
Trying to roll this in for a closing birdie. And not much went right for Phil today, that's for sure.
Wow, how about that, Gary? 78. Of course, is playing tougher today. It's averaging about 70. But, boy, both Phil and Tiger with crazy days over par.
Well, Woods trying to make a birdie as well here at the 9th. Okay.
It'll be interesting to see if he does play before the Masters. We'll see. Phil, you know, will play before Augusta. That has been his pattern through the years. And so there's the final tail of the tape.
Well, Adam Long, the man who sent out the tweet about having 1 win versus the others, he comes out on top.
The guy with one of the 127 wins in the group takes him out.
Over at 18.
And Scotty Scheffler, PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, for a closing birdie, and that was read beautifully. So Steelers win over the Titans today. They and the Seahawks are the only unbeaten teams left, as Bubba taps in for his par at 18. Tied for 4th right now with Hanley, who's in.
He's starting to play better.
Yep.
Yeah, old Bubba is, and he's got the Masters coming up in a few weeks. 2-time champion there, so.
Yeah, another one of those guys that drives down Magnolia Lane and turns into Superman at times.
Something happens.
Okay, so here we go at the 17th. Again, 166 yards, second to last group. Ryan Palmer pegging it down there, coming off his birdie at 18, has the honor. Nota?
Yeah, just quietly, Palmer, just quietly hanging around, right around that top 10. He's made a career out of it since he came out here on the PGA Tour, and what he's looking at here is a little bit downhill, and the wind should be coming just a tiny bit off the right. You see Caddy there kind of double checking, so.
Yeah.
You know what, Bill, if you go on that tripod, just give you a low launch for them to go so fast.
It has been a really, really good career as far as longevity and consistency. I mean, the guy never lost his card. He's been out here 18 years on tour. He's now 44 years old and just has been a model of consistency. 4 wins for Palmer.
And I can attest after watching him today, he's still got some pop in the bat.
Yep. He says he's changed golf balls and added some distance.
Yeah, that's what everybody's looking for now. They just, how can I get a few more yards out of it? He lives on about 7 acres there in the Dallas area. He's got 4 longhorns and they're pets. I'll eat out of your hand. They've all got a name.
Okay, another big moment here for Cantlay, coming off a messy bogey at 16.
Yeah, just really got to try and compose himself.
And the ball's still not going full distance, correct? Yeah.
Got a very even keel disposition as a general rule from a personality standpoint. So.
Looking 15 feet left of the hole. Yep.
15 feet left of the hole. You heard the last words for Patrick.
It's good advice. A miss right is tough because it's downhill from there. Pin high left is actually below the hole.
He leads by 2 over Thomas and Rahm behind him.
This is textbook, just left of the hole, like you said.
Yep, Matt Master gave him the instructions, and that's exactly what he did. Executed it to perfection.
And we're here at 16, just a moment ago, 298 yards. He's going with 3-wood, but again, I just don't understand the decision off the tee, Paul. That barely carries the penalty area. No way to reach the green from that far back.
Well, as straight as he's driven it this week as well, Gary.
Yep. So Justin Thomas has, as I mentioned earlier, played the hole in eagle, birdie, and he's driven it down there far enough he'll be able to hit an iron to the green. Aggressive off the tee, see if he can get it to pay off. And hole 16 through 18.
Yeah, coming down just right in the middle of the green, just right of it there.
7 under par. Needs it right now.
244. And certainly we saw Cantlay pay the price for missing this green in the wrong place. JT knows that if he's going to miss here, he has to miss right. This is way right.
Uh-oh. Penalty area.
Get the luckiest break you've ever gotten.
Penalty area. Look out. Hit the tree. And they are looking down in that
that's just
area.
pathetic. But I just am so scared to hit that left.
You could hear him say, I was so scared to hit it left. Mind is a terrible thing sometimes, Paul.
Yeah, you're so afraid of left, you hit it right.
Yep.
And you're so afraid of right, you hit it left. And that's why these guys need to focus on what they want to see, Gary. Mickelson mentioned that last week. He had to flip his brain.
And we're back here at 16. And Justin Thomas trying to figure out where the ball last crossed the margin of the penalty area. It's a red penalty area. And there's the ball.
It's a straight line to right here, and it was cutting. So, I mean, this, if anything, I would say this is being generous.
Okay. You agree with that?
Yeah.
This is an important drop here, guys, because there's a tree between he and the green, and he wants to get it out of his line of sight and shot.
Do you have your whole set with you?
He looks that over. We'll move up to 17.
And this is Palmer, and you know Cantlay's taking a very close look at this because you can see his mark right ahead of Palmer. This on the way for a 2. Oh, what a clutch putt. And he showed him a perfect line. Didn't move a ton. He had good pace on it.
Yeah, they're putting back up the hill and just going to creep a little bit to the right, just barely down towards the front of the green.
Ryan Palmer with 3 birdies here in the last 5 holes to move it to 19 under. And you can see the interested spectator here, Cantlay, walking right in behind Palmer to get a good look at that. So, boy, would he like to bury this, and with the problems that Thomas is having at 16.
Yeah. Just wonder if he knows where he stands now.
So Thomas trying to figure out where he'll be able to take this penalty drop.
Your drop, Craig?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Redropping as the ball moved closer.
Good. Perfect. Thank you.
To the hole.
Hey guys, we're taking relief from a penalty area, and we're going
Back up to 17.
Cantlay still looking at this one very carefully.
I just had a quick chat with Palmer as he's walking off the green. He said he played a good 2.5 to 3 feet outside that left edge, so a little bit more than what we're seeing on the monitor. I think Cantlay wouldn't have seen that normally because it just doesn't appear that way from first glance. So he's going to get this out there a bit.
Note of this from just under 20 feet to get it to 24 under and open up another 3-shot lead.
And it's another left to right putt, and that putting adjustment he made on his backstroke has paid big dividends on these left to righters.
And that looked good.
Oh, he got robbed. How did that not go to the right as hard as
almost
Ryan
looked like
Palmer?
it went up a little bit. It'll be an easy tap-in 3 for Cantlay to remain 2 clear. Back to 16.
Yeah, Thomas now to play his 4th.
He's got an angle, Gary. He's going to hit a little punch shot here, skip it short of the green, and try to run it back to flag high. Needs the bounce. And a little bit of a check. Oh, my goodness. How about those hands?
What a shot. It's a great recovery shot, but at best it's going to be a par, and he needed better than that. Yeah, it's just great visualization, Paul, imagination, and trusting your ability, because that you just don't practice those.
Nope.
How many times has that short game of Thomas bailed him out?
JT.
Even Jon Rahm said, good shot, JT. Players appreciate when they see a good one.
And Gary, to your point about Rahm's play off this 16th tee, another thing to throw in there, the fact that the whole dogleg's right and his go-to shot all the time is a cut.
Well, I think back bones to when he, with the BMW, when he won the BMW, the final round there, he hit driver on a bunch of holes where other players weren't hitting driver, fitting him in there with that left to right shot.
Same kind of angle as JT, so a good chance to get this up and down. Taking the high road.
Yeah.
Looking for some spinach.
Yes, sir. Well done.
Great shot.
So, Jon Rahm, birdie putt there would get him within 1.
Well, he's going to watch the tape and then laugh when we question why you laid up. But,
well, but, you're not going to make a 3 laying up, that's for sure. And at that point, it looked like he might need it as we go to 18.
All right, critical driving hole here for Cantlay coming up. There's not a lot of room, Zinger, the longer you put it down that fairway. So.
Yeah, and it's a little unnerving, too, because you can't see where the ball lands. You want to drive it on top of the hill. It's too narrow to go any farther than that, and this is a really simple hole location. The third toughest hole on the course all week, but not today. It's actually played quite easy, and several birdies here, but you must put the ball in the fairway. Cannot play this hole from the right-hand side.
Yeah, it has played a little easier today. 16 birdies. It's playing just under par. And again, you get it in that fairway, then it does become a birdie hole.
Patrick right now set up right down the left center, so it looks like he's just going to try and hit a soft peeler. Get it to drift back into that center section of that fairway. A little trap cut. Very nice shot. It's got to hold that right side, though.
Fantastic. Absolutely perfect tee shot. Does he know where he stands, Noda?
I'm almost certain he does, which is why we might have seen that loose swing at 16.
Well, you may have seen the shot that Webb Simpson hit here coming in here on the plane through. It tore up the cup. They had to fix it, and so why not just pour it in? And we also heard the audio that you can't hear at home. Paul Tesoria's caddy saying, yeah, it's been that kind of week, man. It just should have gone down. Pepperdine men in the field. They might be the best team all season. South Carolina women there as well, coming off a big win last week. So that's all coming your way tomorrow on Golf Channel.
And back here at 16, important par putt for Justin Thomas. Just over 5 feet.
And these guys have to be so grateful again for the rules change that the USGA implemented a couple years ago. They're allowed to tap down imperfections, and when you're playing in the last group on Sunday on greens that have some moisture in them, that can help out a lot in terms of putt this important from 4 or 5 feet on the 70th hole.
Boy, Gary, how good would this save be? It reminds me of the one he made at 13, right? Got out of position, leaned down the short game, was able to save par. Maybe he can do it again.
Yes, sir. Quite the up and down. So he's going to remain 2 shots back. Yep, and you can see he knows he let an opportunity get away there. Iron to the screen.
If anything, just barely.
Alonzo Griffin has this putt for a par. Interestingly, Dan, he got a phone call Tuesday as he was out on the course from Dustin Johnson. Said it was about a different matter, but when he told Dustin that he was playing here at Sherwood, of course, Dustin has played here a number of times. He said he went over every single hole with him and told him what he needed to do to play well.
Yeah, he felt like he kind of played the course.
Yeah.
Before getting expert knowledge like that.
How good is that? Dustin Johnson, the encourager.
Yeah, well, when the #1 player in the world tells you how to play a course, you probably listen.
Paid big dividends.
All right. Jon Rahm with this putt for birdie, and Bones, you have more.
Well, I mean, we can certainly break down what Rahm did off his tee, but it has to be said he hit an incredibly gutsy second shot to try and take on the penalty area and get it in the short grass just short of this green where he was ultimately able to pitch it to this point. So the most important part of him playing this hole was to flush that 3-wood and ultimately be able to wedge it close as he now has this for 4.
Just over 3 feet. Yep. Good birdie. He's within 1.
Is Rahm saving his best for last, as he has a tendency to do in tournaments? You can't help but think about the way he broke through in the PGA Tour, the way he won his last event, the BMW at Olympia Fields, dropping a bomb against Dustin Johnson. So Rahm creeps a little closer to Cantlay. Sebastian Munoz in the Cantlay group over at 18. He was the first-round leader with a 64. Looked like he might fade a little bit after that, but he has brought it back nicely.
Trying to hit a little left to right fade and just not fading very much.
It hasn't been his day today, Noda, but he brought back a 66 yesterday to put himself back in the conversation. So Cantlay is next, looking for his 3rd PGA Tour victory.
He's left with 161, so
Little bit.
And he just missed one of those divots. There's a sea of them there.
But Zing, what I love about this guy, he's so calm. He's got a great disposition about him. Makes that poor swing at 16, comes back, hits a great tee shot at 17, and another one here at 18. So obviously got him back in the right mindset now.
Well, these clubs from this length are usually right on line. Can he get the right distance? Pressure's all on Cantlay now.
He's trying to peel it in there too, and just didn't quite get it to spin enough.
No. Here it comes back.
Did check up, Noda, nicely.
The ridge behind it. Here it comes.
Yeah, it's got that slope a little bit. And we've seen a few made from there today. A par would get him in at 23 under. That's one clear of Rahm right now, but a birdie would look really good.
Great contact. Big chunk of sod comes out of there, but way to control your adrenaline. It would have been easy to goose that to the back of the green. It's on the right level.
Well, Rahm has injected more drama into the festivities with that birdie at 16. He's just one back of Cantlay as he stands up on the hill here at the 17th.
Well, Bones, these guys have a real knack of using that adrenaline to their advantage.
Right hole location, and this man loves to cut it. Patrick Cantlay had the luxury of playing 15 feet left of the hole. I got to think JT and Rahm are going right at it here if they can.
Rahm fully engaged as we check out our top tracer, powered by Topgolf.
Cutting it right at it.
Boy, it sounded good. Looks good.
That is right where you want to leave it.
Yeah, below the hole.
I mean, I just think it's a perfect 160 shot.
Beautiful pressure shot.
So Justin Thomas somehow scratches out another par at a par 5 and is 2 back. He's got to be thinking birdie finish here.
And that's very possible. This isn't a long shot, and if you hit a good tee shot on 18, it's going to be just a 9 or a wedge. So. But you got to do it now, JT.
He made all 3 of his birdies in the first 6 holes, not one since.
Very flush. Just slightly left of it.
He continues to wait on the 18th green to stroke his birdie putt. One better than Rahm, who just put it on the green in regulation at 17, along with Thomas. And Sebastian Munoz will play first here before Cantlay to give him a little more time to think about it. So here comes Sebastian down.
It's a part of the hill that Cantlay is going to have to come across. This putt will be a little uphill into the hill at first, I think, and then start to swing. Notice down there. He'll tell us in a second, but all in all, good lead for Cantlay. He's only had 22 putts to this point, which is pretty huge, and a nice comeback yesterday for Munoz after grabbing the first round lead. Not much went well for him today.
So here is Cantlay, and normally this hillside would be full of spectators, and you know that he would have had a huge throng of people since he was born just down the way in Long Beach, California, and played his college golf in UCLA. But with no spectators here, it's just him, his caddy Matt Minister, and his golf instructor Jamie Mulligan, who has been taking the trip back and forth.
Ed Zing, you mentioned that hill that Munoz's ball finished up on, the last third of that putt. That's exactly what Cantlay and his caddy are just trying to figure out. And as you can see, they're pointing to another point in the putt. They break this down by sections. They try and just assign certain breaks to each section and then add the sum of the parts, and hopefully you got the right answer.
At one point in his career, it was Cantlay who was considered the can't-miss kid, #1 ranked amateur in the world. He was the it player coming out of UCLA.
I wouldn't give up on him yet, especially if he were to pull this off. Now, one of the reasons he's in contention is because he did make a little putter change, swinging it back a little too deep, and made all these left to right putts much more difficult for him. He's made a bunch of them this week, and not sure how much he wants to make this or just nurse it up there tight, but you got a couple guys back there behind him that could catch him. Okay.
Just cozies it up there. So Cantlay's in at 23 under with